Welcome to the Ladders and Leverage podcast, where we break down real estate investing, building wealth, and creating financial freedom for you and your family. I'm Danny Lampert, and alongside my wife, business partner, Marissa Buss, we've built our success by leveraging real estate, and now we want to help you do the same. So each episode, we will bring you real-world investors who share their insights, experience, and strategies for scaling wealth through real estate. We'll dive into the mindset, the tactics, and habits that separate successful investors from the rest. Because here's the truth. You're just one meeting, one phone call, one introduction, or even one podcast away from leveling up. Okay, so let's dive into how this all got started. And then let's talk about how we hit rock bottom.
You want to start with that?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you should start with
We're
that
just
story.
going to let them know everything.
Let them know everything.
Okay. So back in 2006, we had been dating for we were just engaged in 2006.
Yep.
I started working in commercial real estate. The market was super hot. We had not started the demise of the Great Recession. And I was working in there calling out of this book. It's called The Apartment Book. And the broker I worked for said that it was called the Book of Gold because it was full of gold mines, right? Or it was
Right.
full of gold
Yeah, I remember.
because, right? So I'm calling all these investors, these guys, who are owning all these different buildings all over. And I'm thinking to myself, how did these guys get these buildings? Why, what makes them different? Why are they sitting there owning these buildings? What are their different strategies? You had the investors who were like, they never sold a building. They paid them off. They were super conservative. Then you had the other investors who were like, oh yeah, they would basically do value add, get the rents up, and then they were taking the cash out of that one to buy the next one. So that was really the start of us in commercial. And then you came over, remember, and started working with me on your days off from the fire station.
Right.
So
Yeah, so I remember, because I was working as a federal firefighter at the time.
yeah, working a 72-hour shift at Edwards Air Force Base in lovely Lancaster.
So, and I was there and I was testing for all these departments and trying to get on. And it's so slow out there. I mean, we're sitting there watching the fighter jets fly up and down on the flight line. And I saw what you're doing and I was like, or you even said to me, you're like, you should give this a try. So I remember I was like, I can't do this Fed fire thing for the rest of my life. So I came in, got my real estate license, started doing cold calling, exactly what you're saying. Ryan was teaching us, is basically calling anyone and everyone, would you buy or sell? And we're watching Ryan, who is, he's really successful, right? And we're just watching what he's doing. We're like, yes, this is something we want to do.
Yeah.
And I remember I ended up finally, after a little while, sold my first apartment building in lovely Lancaster.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was a 6 or an 8 unit.
Yeah. I think it was an 8 unit.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. So we were working in real estate or in commercial real estate. And then 2007 hits and residential starts going down and people start doing foreclosures and the investors had pulled out of the real estate market. Right. And I just remember I was writing contracts for Ryan and I remember writing up a $75 million it was a 5-center shopping center portfolio in Texas. And it was $75 million. And I remember writing in that he was going to make $750,000 on this. And I was like, this is insane. Like, I need to figure out how this works and get myself there. So we would write these up and financing was no problem. And then I remember November 2007, I write up a contract and all of a sudden there's no financing.
That's right.
And it was like, wait a second. It was so easy before. Ridiculously easy. And all of a sudden there was no financing. So then 2008 starts and it's just all of a sudden we can't put a deal together.
That's
Residential is crashing. You have foreclosures going on. You don't even have short sales really yet in 2008.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and trying to make money. We started selling notes.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
That's right.
Yeah. Ryan went from making like over $1 million a year to not being able to make enough money to obviously I knew the writing was on the wall. There was no way he was going to be able to pay me my salary as being his, assistant / junior agent. And so that's when I had to make the pivot.
Yeah.
and pivoted into residential in early 2010. But it was too late because in 2009, we went to that Richard Kiyosaki
Oh, yeah. We're gonna tell
investment
that
meeting.
story?
Yep, slightly embarrassing. And this is where I convinced Danny to let me purchase a $65,000 real estate investment seminar course on 10 different credit cards.
That's right.
Yeah, big mistake. So we did this. I'm thinking this is great. I'm going to learn how to be, one of these guys I've been cold calling all day. Like we're going to make it. Not realizing how big this financial crisis was going to become.
Yep.
So 2010, I realized I've got to move out of commercial. I move into residential because my mom was working for Shea Homes doing mortgages. And she said, hey, why don't you get into residential? I started doing short sales. Mind you, still going to those Richard Kiyosaki seminars here and there, trying to get the money back from each one.
Yes.
Remember, I would have to fly
Yeah.
to Vegas, go the first
Yeah.
day, and then get my money back and get canceled. So in 2010, basically, because I went to making no money in 2009, I made $7,000.
Right.
Went from making six figures to $7,000.
That's when I started my 3 jobs.
Yes. Then you had to pick up for me because you ended up going and
Yeah.
working, and I ended up having to go bankrupt
That's right.
in my name.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this vividly. I mean, it was a tough time for sure.
Oh, yeah, we're newly married, like, we were living, like, high off the hog, making,
Yeah.
like, really good money, and then it was like, "Oh, wait a second, that's cute. No, you're not."
Yeah. So I'm working as a Fed fireman. I start working construction jobs with my dad.
Mhm.
And then do you remember what I was doing with the water company?
Yeah, I can't
So
even believe you ever did this.
so at nights, I'm working for the California State Water Department where all the pumps are. They pump from the California Aqueduct. So I'm working from
In Bakersfield.
From midnight till 8 a.m.
Ugh.
Underground. It's like how far? 200 feet underground. Because these guys coming in from, I remember they were pretty funny guys coming in from the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah.
And we're just like a standby rescue thing. So, working.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest about this, though. If something really had happened in that time, you all would have been dead.
Down there, yeah, for sure.
Like, you're 200 feet down below.
I was like a rescue standby technician.
But it was like a confined space specialist.
Confined space.
That's what
right.
it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
Yeah.
think that, like, you're not going to save them, Danny. I hate to say it. I think you're just all going to die if the pumps
Yeah.
don't act right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that was probably not the brightest move of us having to do that.
We had to,
but we need the money.
do what you had to do, right?
Yeah.
So let's fast forward. Now, I think 4 or 5 years go by. So I'm not in real estate. You're doing residential sale.
No, you got on Oxnard.
Oh, that's right. So I got hired by Oxnard.
You got on Oxnard City, and that
and-
was your dream, and you really wanted. You were like totally
Gung ho.
on firefighting.
Yeah.
You were super stoked. It was super busy, unlike being on the flight line watching. Hey, I thought it was cool that you got to watch the space shuttle overnight sitting on.
Yeah, you know what the old timers used to say?
What?
It's very cool to see one time.
Yeah.
Because after that, you're just sitting there on a flight line watching a space shuttle, making sure it doesn't blow up for hours. They're there for 3 weeks, and there's a fire truck sitting there watching this damn space shuttle for 3 weeks, all throughout the day and night.
I still thought it was kind of cool.
So then, yeah. So that goes by, and then I ended up. You're going to the seminars again. You're doing really well in real estate, and you're like, hey.
Yeah, residential I was doing really well in residential.
And you're like, time for you to jump back in. So I always had the, when we got started with Ryan and commercial, like I always knew that's what we wanted to do. Like I just felt that energy of like, I want to own commercial real estate. We just didn't quite know how to do it yet.
Right.
So I jumped back into residential, and
Yep.
I'm working for you, and things are going well. And then 2021, I'll let you jump in because I mean that was a year you were just crushing it in real estate.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, COVID hits in March of 2020, and residential real estate agents or real estate agents in general are not considered what was it? First immediate resources or what have you. So we weren't allowed to work. So I basically was hanging out with the kids by the pool, just drinking. And then they said we could go back to work.
Yeah.
And so 2020, I was like, okay, am I ever going to sell a house again? Starts rolling. People start realizing in LA, well,
that's right.
it's not that cool to live in LA if you're stuck in your apartment, house, what have you, and you don't have access to the outdoors. So they start driving north. And that's when they figure out about what this area, Conejo Valley, that they thought was such a too far away, all of these things. And 2021 was insane. I usually sold 15 to 20 houses a year and sold 40 houses that year. So we come to basically didn't see my kids, was working all day, all night. And then November, we go to meet with our CPA and I'm like, hey, I've sold double the houses. Like, what is this going to look like? And no, it was actually October. And he was like, you can either basically give several hundreds of thousands of dollars to the government in taxes, or you need to buy a building and do a cost segregation. And that's when we were like, we were saving because we wanted industrial. Remember that? Because industrial was the strongest commercial real estate performing through COVID. But it was also the most expensive because if you owned, say, a garage door business, you weren't able to move that into your home. Whereas office, a lot of, retail, things like that, they could move into their homes. So industrial was what we wanted, but could not afford by any means. So then we were looking at multifamily. So we ended up finding there was a family that was selling their 43 units that their parents, the dad was a teacher, which I think is rad, and he accumulated over time 43 units in Santa Paula. And so he had passed away and his wife had passed away and the kids put the whole portfolio up for sale.
That's right.
So then we went and looked and there was like 3 8 units or a couple 7 units and an 8 unit. And we went and looked at those and we ended up buying one of the 7 units with one of the firefighters from Oxnard.
Right.
So we took on one partner on it and we went into escrow thinking we were going to get this loan from Chase and everything was going to be all good. And we're like, yeah, this is great. This is so easy. I remember being terrified and not, even though I had sold real estate, I had done so many rentals for people. I mean, I knew how to do it all, but just the thought of owning my own building for some reason was super terrifying to me.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous. And I remember we're in the process and Chase goes, oh, they go out to look at the property. They didn't do a full appraisal where they went into it, but they just did an exterior. And they're like, yeah, there's no way that we are going to finance this building because the condition. And that's when we scrambled and we got a private loan from 2 different people that we knew.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And we still own that building today.
Yeah. Yeah. Closed on that building. Yeah, that was crazy. I'm glad that was just us.
Yeah. And then, so, I mean, what you're saying just kind of reminded me of the time. So, being a firefighter, really the reason we picked that profession is because certainty, right? That's one of our human needs is certainty driven. So I'm going to be a firefighter. I'm going to have a steady income, and then I'm going to have, this pension and buy the house, and we're going to have a family and happily ever after, right? And everything is perfect.
Yeah, we're going to go and get dirt bikes and hang out in the desert. And I was going to be a dirt queen. Yeah.
So, and then I remember, you introduced me to that book, Unshakable, Tony Robbins.
Yes, because he wrote that book about the financial crisis. Right. And I am a nerd and all I do is read investing books. And I read that book and I was like, it was an easier, shorter version for an investing book. And I was like, this book is rad. You should read it.
Yep.
And that's how I got you right there.
Yeah, that's where I got my obsession with personal growth. So that book, I mean, if you ever read it, if you haven't, I highly recommend that you do.
Oh, yeah. Life-changing.
He interviewed the top 50 financial self-made millionaires, billionaires, and the whole book, the first 14 chapters are on finance.
Yeah.
But it was that last chapter.
Yep.
on what a beautiful state is. And I literally remember we were in the office. We were at Remax. I came in. We were like, because we always cold call in the morning. I
Yeah.
came in and you're like, what are you doing? And I was just obsessed. I literally was listening to the audiobook and I wrote down every single word to this chapter because it just resonated with me. I mean,
Why? Go into why.
Because, okay, so being a firefighter, I mean, we see, a lot devastation and death. And I mean, literally, we can see in a day or a week more trauma, more anything than anybody sees in a lifetime. And that's just part of it. And, we came from the old school guys of like, hey, just suck it up. You see something, you don't talk about it, you just bury it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Use gallows humor, just,
So
get through it.
And here's the thing. And people will ask me, what's more difficult? Is it firefighting or business? And people are blown away, but business is way tougher than being a firefighter. Yeah, we do see all this stuff and this and that that can be tough, challenging. But the mental game of business, starting at zero every year, not knowing when your next paycheck's going to come, that's where the mindset, because when you're a fireman, you just go in, you show up, you go to work, you wait for the bell to ring, and that's it.
You don't take it home.
No. But business, it's like,
you're always on.
Whoa, are we gonna be able to make our mortgage payment? Are we gonna do this or that, right? So that chapter, I mean, beautiful state. I can dive into that another time, but that literally changed. I mean, you saw the change.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you used to come home from the fire station, and we had 2 little girls, or we still do, Georgia and Livia. And I remember you would come in and you would be so sweet to them, and then you would turn and you would be like so grumpy to me. And I was like, okay, you say you want to be home and that you don't want to be at the fire station yet. I was like, I'm pretty sure that you don't talk to the firefighters at work the way you're talking to me. And when you read that chapter about beautiful state and about not living in a state of stress and a state of constant worry and all of that, and you committed to it. Like you told me that. You're like, I'm committing to this. And, it's like a practice. It's like yoga. It's not like every day it's perfect.
Exactly.
And, Danny and I have where we say to each other as nicely as possible, because let me tell you, I cannot always turn off work and the stress of work.
Yeah.
And so we have our little like, oh, you're a little grumpy today?
Yeah.
That really means, oh, you're being a total bee. Why don't you why don't you go and take a minute?
Yeah.
So that, you committing to that beautiful state, I think actually really changed our marriage too.
Yeah.
I mean, it totally did. Then,
for sure.
I started to feel like you wanted to be around me. And, it's hard when you have little kids and people don't talk about that enough and how much you're giving to these children and you're enjoying it, but then there's not really much left over for your marriage, especially when you both work full time.
Yeah. No,
and
for sure.
you have pretty demanding jobs.
Yeah.
Like yours is physically demanding. You don't sleep at night. Mine is mentally demanding, tons of rejection. I mean, I had to hear 100 no's to get an appointment for a listing.
Yeah.
I had to hear 200 no's to get a paycheck. And that was just continuous. Right. That's why I drank so much.
No, and for sure. So exactly what you said, it changed for the better. I mean, my relationships with you, the kids, my family, my friends, and that's why I'm so obsessed with Tony Robbins and personal growth. And
we love him. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So, and then the game changer, right? So we're driving home.
Yes.
We went to Mammoth with the kids.
I was trying to convince you to buy a condo in Mammoth.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's what. And I was like, well, if we rent it out so many days, then it's break even when we go there. And then you're like, yeah, no, we're not buying a condo in Mammoth. Let's listen to.
Yeah, and I don't know how it came on, but we listened to the podcast.
You were listening to it. And you're like, right. I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this guy.
That's right. So Vinny Chopra.
Yeah.
Introduced Vinny Chopra, right? Yep. So Vinny Chopra listening to this podcast, and it's about real estate syndications. And we both were like, oh my gosh, this is what we wanted. This is what we've been, all this journey has been guiding us to.
Yeah.
It really is, right? I think you say it best. I mean, we do it, for other people that we can bring in.
Because we had so many people who found
That's
out
right.
that we bought the 7 unit with a partner, and they were like, well,
Yeah.
how do I invest with you? And I was like, that's a great question. How do you invest with
Right.
us? And for me, having created this reputation in residential and in the community, I mean, I was doing a ton of charity work, and I just didn't want to. I had seen so much fraud and people losing their money through the Great Recession, and then in real estate where people embezzled money. And I was like, I want people to invest with us because I know that our core and our value and our morals are, far none and aren't unwavering, but I don't want to lose people's money. So how do we do this? And that's
when I signed up. So
yeah, we were listening to him and then we were like, this guy's rad. Okay. And he had that group.
Yeah. So I signed up for the
group
so we
training.
had a group coaching program. So it was $10,000 to join the group coaching. It was every Wednesday. You get on a Zoom, and it's just a group of like-minded investors starting out and trying to figure it out. So, and me, when I go at something, it's obsessive.
You have quite the obsessive personality.
Yeah, so
yes, you do.
Through the good and bad. And so he had a laundry list, or he had a Google Drive of all the previous episodes. So I'm diving into it. I would literally, if I was working out, if I was walking, if I was any free time, I'm listening. Yeah. And I'm getting obsessed.
You're one of those people that works out and listens to podcasts. You know what we call them?
What?
Psychopaths. Okay. If you don't listen to music while you work out and you listen to podcasts.
You know what it's called? It's called net time, which Tony Robbins taught me. So we're busy, so you have no extra time. So you can do 2 things at once. You can work out and learn and listen. So yes. Do I do it obsessively? Yes. So then we're like, okay, we've been in real estate for a while, right? And I think we're a little past this little group of everyone kind of started out. No one really knew what they were super green.
Yeah, so, they weren't in real estate. They were like in regular jobs.
So remember, I go, hey, babe, they got this one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
And just you and Vinny, $40,000. What do you think?
Yeah, it was like 24 calls or something. Yeah. And personal like hand holding. And I was like, that sounds awesome.
Yep.
The money, like it's a lot of money, but the potential for it. And for me to have someone that I could call and text and go over what I exactly was going through and not have to wait my turn in like a group training, that is what I felt like it was worthwhile. Yeah. And Tony taught us that. I mean, Tony Robbins, all of his stuff was like,
success,
get a mentor.
Success leaves clues, right?
Yeah.
You turn decades into days by modeling someone.
Yes.
I mean, I remember when we first started doing it, and I was like just doing research, this and that, and you're spinning your wheels. So why? So that's why I tell anybody that's like looking to get into any sort of real estate investing or career. You want to be the best realtor? Go find the best realtor. Find out exactly what they do, model them, and you turn those decades that they spent doing it into days. Yeah. Right?
So Vinny did that for us, which was awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, his quick little backstory, I mean, this guy came from
India
with like $7 in his pocket, right? And he is just the total American dream. And he ended up doing over 40 syndications.
Yeah.
He's now built over $1 billion in real estate. And he is over 70 years old, has the most energy.
Yeah.
He doesn't do this because he needs the money. Like he didn't need 40 grand from us.
No.
But he loves it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we're doing here. Like we love real estate and we want to give back. There's no secrets. Like for me, when I was first starting, you learn something, you like keep it close to you, but no, there's nothing. Like there's no, like give it all, give everybody what they need to know, and it'll all come back.
Well, and the world is full of abundance. If you
100%.
Choose to view it that way, it's the people who don't view the world in abundance that try to keep their secrets.
Yeah.
And, it's like Ryan used to say to me, he's like, this is not a hard job. It's very simple. It's just not easy.
Yeah. Right.
And so it's the same thing with syndications. Like the whole concept is very simple, but it's just not easy. And so that's why a lot of people don't go into it because it is intimidating.
Yeah.
So we basically then did the first Yale.
Yeah. Go into, because that was,
okay. So
that was such a good decision. And how, like, we go into that process of like, after we
So we
signed up.
bought the 7 unit, right?
Yeah.
With our other partner, Chad, who was a firefighter. And so on that unit, on that building, we did not evict any tenants. And we just slowly were going to remodel and upgrade the units as people moved out. We did a lot of stuff on the exterior. We spent like over 150,000 on the exterior.
Yeah, not fun. That's like the not pretty side of real
But
estate.
it made it look a lot better.
It did, but it doesn't give you the value. You're like, oh, I just
No.
spent 40. No one goes to and goes, oh, that's a beautiful driveway you just spent 40,000 on.
That was 70. It was $70,000 worth of concrete.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was like no increase like rent from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we had done that model, and then we decided, we were with Vinny and decided to find a syndication, and we bought a little tiny on the market. It was on the MLS, just sitting there. It looked like a property that you literally would turn around and not even want to walk onto. It was 6 units, but they weren't attached. They were like these 6 tiny little homes that were built in 1955. They were raised foundation. I mean, some of the floors were like molded and deteriorating and falling through. The tenants were taping down rugs, area rugs over the flooring with masking tape, trying to give themselves new flooring. The rents were incredibly low. The sewer system was leaking out the back of it. I mean, it was in horrible condition. So we paid $1.2 million for this property. The gross rents were like $74,000 a year. And I remember we closed on it, and they're like, oh, okay, so is someone coming? The first of the month was like 4 days away. And they're like, so someone coming on the first of the month at 7 p.m. to collect the rents, we pay in cash. And we're like, I guess so.
I remember. I think we sent Chad.
Yeah, we're like, hey, Chad,
can you go over there and take
Chad,
care of that?
you want to go to this property that we just bought and collect the rents? Yeah. So yeah, I remember like we didn't even have the utilities turned on. Like we came there like the next day, and he's like, so, blah, blah, about the utilities. I was like, oh yeah, let me make sure the trash gets turned on and the water. Yeah. So we bought that property, and we ended up actually having to evict all the tenants because they were such
we
bad
had
condition.
to. I mean, it was
mold,
slumlord. Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. None of the heaters worked, nothing worked. So we evicted everyone. We gave them first right to come back if they wanted to. And we spent 90 days redoing the sewer system. I mean, we spent on that $365,000 in repairs to the 6 units, but they turned out fabulous. Like we put in luxury vinyl flooring, white shaker cabinets, quartz countertops, all black hardware. We put in ductless heating and air conditioning systems, redid the concrete, the landscape. And then we added 2 ADUs.
Which we've finished.
So we made it an 8 unit, and then added in a laundry room because they didn't have laundry. And took that property from $74,000 in gross rents to $223,000 it will make this year. And this was a property on market that nobody wanted to look at.
And this is, so year 4 or 5 when we're getting ready to sell it next year. I mean, we're going to
2027. You keep trying.
We're selling it in 2026. I'm hopeful. I'm an optimist.
Yeah.
But think about it. Everybody's going to 2x their money. And I mean, at the most 5 years, right?
Right. And we had projected it was going to be 7 years.
Yeah. So then fast forward, what we bought next?
We bought a 24 unit in Santa Paula.
Oh, yeah.
And it had 6 garages that were like a total of 20 spaces or something, or 18 spaces. So we took 5 of those garages, converted them into 6 ADUs, which will be completed the end of March, hopefully beginning of April. So just in 4 to 6 weeks. And that one, so we took the same.
That one's a home run.
Yeah, this one's a total home run. So we took the same philosophy or business plan of, we took the worst units that had mold. They were just in horrible condition. So it was 8 out of the 24 units that we evicted to do substantial remodels. And, people are always upset with you when you evict them, and I totally understand. But when these people left, I think if they looked back to see what they were actually living in, I mean, a lot of the buildings we buy are people that the owners keep the rents low, but they never change out the carpet.
Yeah.
They never, do anything for these people. They never even fix simple like shower head leaks. So we're really buying buildings that are in pretty distressed. So we have to get bridge loans. We can't get conventional financing on them when we first purchase them because they're just not in that condition. So that one, we evicted the 8 units. And then the other tenants saw what we were doing and were like, can I move in that unit?
Right.
Can I move in that? So then we ended up having, I think total
12.
now.
I think it's 12.
It was 12 at the end, but then we've also now still had more remodels. So I think we're up to about 16 of the units out of the 24 being remodeled.
So, so there's still, when we sell it, there's still some meat on the bone for the next investor. We don't want to totally, renovate every single unit, right? So
yeah, or you get someone who doesn't want to have an aggressive business plan like we do, which I think is a lot of, older landlords that are in 1031 exchange. This will be a great building for them because basically almost everything is done on the building and you have 6 brand new units. So you can buy a 30-unit building and you really don't need to do that much, just the other units as well. And they don't even have to remodel them the way we did. I would. But, they can just do a simple remodel and re-rent out the units. So,
and then what? So then our next one.
So then last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting that all stabilized because we didn't want to look at anything until we got the permits for the ADUs, right? So we kind of slowed down last year. And then we started looking again towards the end of the year. And we got into escrow on one in Oxnard. So on Edgewood, 18 units. We are going to add 6 ADUs and do 5 evictions with substantial remodels. So we are in escrow on that property. We're trying to get a bridge loan from a different bridge loan lender who is just being a total pain. And then what happens? Danny comes and says, so there's another building. It's off market, totally vacant, totally remodeled. Well, they're remodeling it right now, but it'll be totally remodeled. I think we should buy it too.
And your first response normally is
no. We're trying because I'm more, I'm a driver personality, but / analytical. So it's like there's only so many things I want to take on at once. And you're like, oh, we could do both. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can totally do this. We have to do this. This is such a good deal. And then I looked at it and underwrote it and I was like, yeah, this is a really good deal.
That was the first building that we underwrote that met our strict criteria that we didn't have to add ADUs.
Yeah, it was the first one.
And look at that building now. Are you happy we bought it?
Yes, I am. But when the day came and it was the 2 buildings were supposed to the day before Thanksgiving last year, close on Edgewood and close on Surfside and the refinance that we were doing on Acacia. And I was like, really? All 3? Are trying to close on the same day?
It was a lot.
Yeah. A lot for, me, who is the one handling all the paperwork and
so since, you handle all the paperwork and numbers, where are we at for GeoLiv Investment Group? From starting in 2021? Our first syndication was 22.
Our first syndication was 2022. We closed on in November of 2022. So we closed on our first building, just you and I joint venture with Chad in August 29th of 2021. And then, oh no, I'm sorry. We closed on that one. No, that one we closed on in November 2021. Then we closed on Harvard in August of 2022. And then we closed on Acacia. We bought another joint venture.
Where are we at assets under management since we first started?
So with all 6 buildings that we own now, and when all the ADUs will be complete, we'll have 98 units and we'll have 27 million assets under management in 3 years.
How cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. Cool. So it's fun.
Yeah.
So
thanks for pushing me out of my comfort zone.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so what we're going to do normally when we have our guests is we're going to do the final 5. Okay, so we're going to dive into 5 questions specifically to real estate investors and we'll dive into, different topics that can, what changed for them and stuff like that. So today, since we don't have a guest, me and you will answer them.
Okay. Sounds
so
good.
First one for you, Marissa, what's the best investment, financial or personal, that you've ever made?
I'm going to answer this honestly. And this is
Please do.
not to make your head any bigger, okay, than it is. But honestly, if I look at my life and I look at what the best investment I made was because my mother always told me that the two biggest decisions in your life are your career and who you marry. And so I feel like marrying you and starting to date you at 22 years old, I saw you and you already had your career as a federal firefighter and you just I could see that there was so much growth and potential in you. And I feel like I cultivated that investment really well and made you into an amazing high achiever that you are now. That pushes me now further than I would. So I would say that was my best investment.
How cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm sweet. All right. So, question for you, Danny. What is a daily habit or routine that has made the biggest impact on your success?
Daily habit or routine that makes the biggest impact on my success. It has to be fitness, working out. So without your body, without your health, I mean, you really have nothing, right? So for me, um, every day that's where the discipline starts. Okay, so there's no, it's not if I'm going to work out, it's when I'm going to work out.
Yeah.
And, having the fitness be like the guiding force for me really leads to all other aspects of my life, right? So when I'm consistently working out, I'm going to consistently make my phone calls. I'm going to consistently prospect for deals. And not only does it help me with the discipline, but just, I mean, overall, like look good, feel good, and it gives you this confidence also,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
This is just pure honesty. I mean, I can walk into most rooms and it's rare that someone else is in better shape or something like that. So just to have that confidence,
Yeah.
I
No
mean,
dad bod here.
no dad bod here,
No.
right?
No,
So
we don't do dad bods.
and yeah, so for me, fitness it starts there, and then that just leads to every aspect of my life.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me too, you got me on that
Yeah.
train. And feel like it gives me more patience with my kids,
Yep.
with my clients, with work in general. It just, yeah, it helps you manage your stress levels so
Right.
much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Marissa, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice before your first deal, what would it be?
It would definitely have to be that, and Ryan used to say this to me when I first got into commercial real estate. He would say, "Don't focus on the small deals because no matter what the price point is, they're all the same amount of work. It's just extra zeros." And I
Mm,
feel like that's so true that you think like, "Oh, I should start off, around 1,000,000 too and not go for the 5,000,000 or go for the 10,000,000 or the $20,000,000 deal." And the reality is it's all the same exact processes. You just have a larger investment and it's just more money and you'll surprise yourself if you go bigger sooner.
yeah.
So, that's what I think I would tell myself is just do it.
So true. I mean, I remember when I first got into real estate and you were teaching me cold calling and like, it would be intimidating. I would literally because you have the sheet in front of you and you it shows, what the value of the house is roughly,
Yeah.
and, like, anything that was, like, above 3,000,000 or 4,000,000 for, like, a residential, I'm like, "I'm not calling them," you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's this intimidation factor,
Totally.
um, but when you realize, like, just like you said, like, it's just zeros,
Yeah.
right?
The reality is they put their pants on one leg at a
Yeah,
time, just
and
like we do.
it's the same amount of work,
Yes.
whether I'm doing a deal for 1,000,000 or 15,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Okay, Danny. What is a book, podcast, or mentor that has changed the way you think about business or life?
So I mean, I touched on it earlier with the book, Unshakable, and then the last chapter, but since I already went into that, it's what changed me is the mentor that changed my life is Tony Robbins. Because even after that, right, the obsession started,
Yeah.
and so we go to UPW, his ultimate
Unleash the Power
Power
Within.
Within, right?
Yeah.
That seminar, if you haven't gone to it, it's like a 3-day seminar.
Yeah.
And now they even do them virtually, is one of the best seminars you'll ever go to.
Oh, yeah.
Because it really, because they go over that like values day and go over, because we're just a product of like how we were raised and how we brought up, right?
Right.
And like that's how, my dad was a fireman, my grandpa was a fireman. I'm supposed to be a fireman, right? So like that, and that's my personality, or it's certainty driven, right?
Yes.
And Tony takes you through. He's like, most people are certainty driven and significance driven. And that's why we take the W-2 job. That's why we do the 9 to 5, and we come to work, show up, get a paycheck, because we know it's certainly going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. But he teaches you that, having uncertainty and, growth and contribution, because that's what really makes you feel alive. I'm my last year of the fire station, and I loved it, and it's been great for me. But me personally have outgrown being a fireman. Like, business is just so fun.
Yeah.
It's limitless. It is so limitless. And Tony teaches you that, and I just enjoy that part of it. So really, Tony, he's the one.
We know.
I know.
You love Tony
I
Robbins.
I have actually, one of the firemen did give me a picture of him and signed it, joking around when he.
One day you'll
Yeah.
meet him in person, and
Yeah.
you'll get to
Well, we're gonna go to
Date with Destiny.
Date with Destiny, the relationship one, for the second time.
Yeah.
Second best seminar I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marissa, last question. If you had to start from scratch today,
Okay.
with no money,
but
all your current knowledge, that's not going away in that beautiful brain of yours. Okay. What's the first thing you would do to rebuild?
Part of me, if I go to like kind of a scarcity mindset, it would be to go to my residential like toolbox and go and door knock and cold call, right? But really, with the knowledge that I have now, I really would do a syndication, because the difference is, in a syndication, you are bringing a value opportunity to other people for them to invest in real estate. And here in Southern California, it is extremely expensive to even buy a condo or a single family home for yourself. And it's very difficult to have that cash flow. So I feel like giving people the opportunity to invest in a syndication with sponsors who are dedicated and fiscally responsible is huge. And I love being able to give that opportunity to my clients and friends and, other people that are getting to know us. And that's really, that's honestly why, I agreed to do this podcast with you, is because I do believe in what we do. And I do think that for the common person to be able to invest as little as $50,000 with a syndicator and have that diversification within their portfolio is huge, because you can't really get that in a REIT. And then the fees really eat up and take away from the overall return.
And that is why.
That's why I love the syndication.
Yeah. And that's why we are doing this podcast, is like,
yeah,
we want to share the knowledge that we've learned. And then we're going to bring in all sorts of people that are doing what we're doing, or something similar in real estate, and share it. Like, we want people to get out of the grind. Like, there's not enough people out there that have saved enough money for retirement and are ready for that. Or they're going to work till they're 65, and then they're going to spend their next 10 years. The average person lives to 74. 10 years enjoying their retirement. No, let's build something now. Let's build the wealth now for us, for our family, for our kids in the future. So that's the plan.
Yeah, I'm excited. It was fun when we were trying to think of our guest list for this podcast and who we would invite. And I was like, oh, this is awesome, because we came up with over almost 40 people to bring on here that we know, that we were like, they have just all different skill sets and different strategies that I think will be really great for people to hear and see how they can get more involved and create a better future for themselves.
What do you think about for the next episode? We bring in Mr. Vinny Chopra.
He's in India and Dubai for a month.
Okay, when he gets back.
Yeah, so
All right.
we will bring him in.
Yeah.
Unless he'll do it via Zoom. But I don't know what the time difference is.
Oh,
that might be intense.
That's what's so cool. He's always available. I love
100%.
him so much. So, but thank you so much for joining, Marissa. Thank you for. We finally started the podcast, and this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it's super fun.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I can't wait to have some guests to share and help everybody, whoever wants to listen, build wealth through real estate.
Yeah, I'm excited too.